going on, beautiful people? What's going on? What's going on? Let me check the stream from my phone to see if it's coming through clearly so we don't have any trouble with audio. And then once we do that, I'll drop a message in the chat. Let's see. Double checking. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. I'll drop a message in the chat to say hello to everyone. It is March 8th, 2020. We're here for our weekly Dough for Degrees Community Scholarship Chat. I'm your host. My name is Danielle Jeffers. I'm the founder of Dough for Degrees LLC. Dough for Degrees is a scholarship coaching company where I teach students how to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free. As you all know, we go live every single Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I answer any questions you have about scholarships. Today, we have another special guest. Miss Heidi is going to join us soon. Miss Heidi Keyfarber. I don't think I've mentioned her on this channel, but she has been a key person, a key part to my success in life and going to Virginia Tech, just exploring my interests and seeing what I love and what I don't love and what I like and what I don't like at an early age. So I'm definitely I can't wait to introduce you to her, let her know how she's growing and touching children all around the world, how she's done that for a long time, especially children in Danville, Virginia, who went to the Boys and Girls Club, and how she changes lives by just being who she is. So before we get into that, let me recap what we did this week. What's up, sister? I hope all is well. I know I owe you all 2 more videos for this week. Thank you for being patient with me as I was preparing to travel and finishing up business things. I didn't catch up on all my emails like I mentioned last week, but I'm working on it. And so I dropped 2 videos. I dissected my Victoria's Secret contest submission. I did a video on that. I was able to get it down from 30 minutes to 12 minutes. So I was happy about that because I was going to go and dig even further into how I crafted that submission, how I crafted that video. But I decided to keep it short and sweet. And then I dropped the March 2020 scholarship game plan. So I used to call that series Habits of Scholarship Winners. The reason why I called it that was because I know certain people reach a certain level of success because they have a certain level of discipline. They're very habitual in what they do and how they produce these results. It's like I mentioned before, Whitney Houston or Kobe Bryant, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, and people who reach the top levels of their desired fields or their industries, what have you, they put in hours and hours of practice before they ever perform. I tell you all the time, you don't get paid to practice, you get paid to play, but you play the way you practice. Once again, you don't get paid to practice, but you get paid to play, but you do play the way you practice. And so your practice, the time you spend practicing is just as important, if not more important, than the time you actually spend performing. And so we've mentioned this before last week. Well, I mentioned this before last week, but I practice the art of speaking every single day just to be ready for those moments when I get to speak in front of a group of students or a group of parents for maybe an hour on a Wednesday. I may spend 6 hours a day practicing the art of speaking, learning more about it, incorporating different skill sets or different approaches into my repertoire, but I may only get to use it once every 3 months. But once you know something, people can't take away what you know. That's yours. It's like your mind is one of the best lock boxes in the world because you can know so many things and choose whether or not you disclose them. And so practice whatever you're doing. When you're applying for scholarships, just practice writing essays, deciphering prompts and all those things. And I'll continue to walk you through how to apply for these scholarships in our sprint. You all know it's the month of March, so we're on a scholarship sprint this month. I'll be announcing 23 new scholarship opportunities that you can apply for before April 1st. So by the end of the day, on March 31st, you will have seen 23 new scholarship opportunities on this channel. And the first one is coming this week. Once I get those last 2 videos for you, I owe you from last week. The first one will be I may do these in a reverse order, but one of them will finish up the local scholarship series. So I'm going to teach you how to call local organizations and ask for money. I will teach you the tactic and approach I use. And then the second one is the number 1 reason why you won't win scholarships. So the number 1 reason why you won't graduate debt free. And I wanted to give you all that video before we get started with the sprint because it's better to know the crutch or what's the word they use all the time with superheroes? the Achilles heel in your life or for your success before you get started, so you know how to address it. And I'll give you a sneak peek into that. What that number one reason is because you won't commit to the process. Basically, you'll get tired. You'll allow your emotions to override your logic, and you'll say, "This is too much. Or, I don't feel like writing another essay," and you'll throw in the towel before you actually execute and are able to see what you can actually produce. But if you commit to the process, and commitment is simply doing what you said you would do long after the initial feelings you had in that moment that you said you would do it have left. So I'll say it again. Commitment is doing what you said you would do long after the initial feelings you had in the moment have left. And so when you say, hey, I'm going to apply for 10 scholarships this month, but you get tired and you realize you have midterms this month, or you have a final this month, or what have you, you're like, yo, I'm at 8. I think I'm done. I've done enough. But you made a commitment to do 10. And so just stick to your commitment and push through. What's up, Jason Graves? I hope all is well. I'm great. How are you? Good to see you in the chat. To everyone who's joined, thank you so much for joining. Feel free to drop any questions or comments you have about scholarships in the chat. As I mentioned before, for those of you who missed it, we do have a special guest today. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to put it in words, about to cry. But she has played a major role in my life. She's changed my life for the better. And if my mommy is watching this chat or my dad's watching this chat, hello to y'all. I know my sister's watching, but I want to introduce you all to Miss Heidi Kiefarber. So Miss Heidi, will you please come forward and talk to the people? Miss Heidi, yes, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to just tell them who you are and what you do. Why'd you make that face? Who you are, what you've done in the past with the Boys and Girls Club, and what you do right now, and then I'll come in and ask you a couple of questions if that's cool.
That works.
Okay, cool.
All right. Hi, I'm Heidi Kiefarber. I want to start by saying I met Danielle probably when she was in middle school, and she's an amazing young woman, and probably knew that from the day I met her. As she said, my name is Heidi Kiefarber. I live in the Richmond area now. I spent a lot of years in Danville. As my children went off to college, I was looking for something to do. I was invited to come and work at the Boys and Girls Club writing grants. Thoroughly enjoyed that. It was an opportunity to get to know a beautiful group of children, work with some really wonderful and interesting people. Okay, I've lost my train of thought. Left Danville a couple of years ago, moved closer to home. I've enjoyed that, being that close to family again. I think that's all I have to say.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm on my phone. Y'all always see me on my phone in the chat, but I'm responding to the comments.
Okay.
You have my scholarships in the chat. So Jason asked, he said, y'all are super pretty. Can you see?
Oh,
yeah, thank you.
It.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. He said, y'all are super pretty. Interesting stream to Danville, Kentucky. I'm in KY.
No, this is Danville, Virginia.
Danville, Virginia.
Kentucky. I have driven through Danville, Kentucky.
Really?
Yes, we went to, there is I'm not going to be able to think of the name of it, but there's a horse farm there that we went to visit. Went to Mammoth Cave and went to the Corvette factory. Nice. That was everybody's favorite part, the Corvette factory.
Nice. Yeah, so Danville, Virginia, Jason. But I really wanted, because I know a lot of students are preparing to select the college that they'll go to. And National Decision Day is May 1. And like I said, I left a comment and said, feel free to drop any questions you have about scholarships in the chat, because the purpose of this live is to answer any questions you all have about scholarships. But I also like to introduce you to people who have played a major role in my life. They're very important to me, and also help you become more familiar with the scholarship process and the college process from different perspectives. My sister said, Miss H, what advice would you give people who are mentoring kids? That's a great question.
Okay. Actually, I've thought about this a little bit, because Danielle asked me to do this, and I'm not real comfortable with this sort of thing. I think giving people your ideas, giving them opportunities, but always remembering they get to make the final decision. I went to Virginia Tech, so I was happy to influence Danielle to consider Virginia Tech. Certainly had reasons why I chose Tech. So when you're mentoring, make sure you understand that you're providing them with information, you're providing them with ideas, you're providing them with opportunities, but they get to make those final decisions.
Awesome, awesome. I'm typing your name in the chat just so everyone knows how to spell it. If they want to answer your question. Did I spell it right?
Yes, you did. Very
awesome. Good. All right, y'all give me 1 second while I finish. Okay, so let's jump into our relationship and how we met. So I joined the club the summer before my 6th grade year of middle school. This was in Danville, Virginia. I joined because I was is it right word, latchkey kid? Like I just went home after school.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But I did go to an after school program when I was in elementary school. And so I was transitioning. My best friend, Miles, he left our after school program once we went to middle school to join the Boys and Girls Club. And I was like, well, Miles going there. I want to go there too. I want to stick by him. And so I was asking my parents, Mom, Dad, can I go to the club? And the club didn't have the best reputation at the time in the city. And they were like, no. Like, no, you can't go to the club. And so my aunt, she worked with a young man who went to the club regularly. And she said, hey, I think it's a pretty good place. I'm going to go take Danielle to check it out. So she took me to check it out. I fell in love because there were so many kids there my age, which was something I wasn't used to. My sister, she often joins the chat. My sister's older than me. And so we have a beautiful connection, but I was used to growing up in the home as a single child, like as an only child. And so I wanted to be around people my age. And I was like, yo, this is an amazing opportunity. They're playing basketball. Y'all have heard me talk about basketball in almost every single video because I love basketball. Shout out to it being March Madness month as well. Go Hokies. We are both Hokies, so go Hokies. But I wanted to be around them. And finally, with a lot of my aunt's persuasion to my parents, persuaded my parents, they said yes. And I joined the club and I fell in love immediately. And the club pushed me outside of my comfort zone. When I say the club, I mean the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club of America is a nonprofit organization that helps the youth explore their interests in 5 key areas: is health and fitness, healthy lifestyles, education, STEM. Is it STEM?
There's 3: character and leadership,
okay,
healthy lifestyles, and you said the other one. Now I can't think of it either.
STEM, art. It's one of them.
Character and leadership, healthy lifestyles. What's the 3rd one?
I forgot.
It'll come to us.
It will.
It will.
Well, Jason,
I can see the 3 buildings that were on the billboard, but I can't
too. I can't remember though. Jason asked, "Oh, cool. How's your game in basketball? I'm a rebounder." Oh, Jason, see me on the court. That's all I'm gonna say. I say that with all love. I'm a guard. I play shooting guard for quite a bit. My mid-range jumper is nice. I just have to get in shape, but this is there. But good stuff. And so I joined. I explored my interests. But one thing you always did was you taught me the importance of not saying no. You made me do things that I didn't want to do. But I'll let you talk about it.
Okay. And here we go back to basketball. That was a big draw for the club. Right. That brought in a lot of young people. We had a full-size gym, so there was always an opportunity to do that. But we also required the young people to participate in the other activities. There were educational activities. We did some gardening. Yes. We did cooking, art, science. Science is my love. I heard you say last week it was not yours.
No, it's not.
I was a little disappointed in that, but it's okay. Then you said math, so I came back, right?
Yes.
We did a lot of experiments, science experiments at the club. Brought in a lot of people like to come. We're back to the mentoring. A lot of adults like to come in and kind of show off what they enjoy doing. So we took advantage of that at the club, and that gave, again, young people an opportunity to see what some of the options were out there.
Most definitely. But the club really reinforced the importance of education, whether it be through Power Hour or after school, we're doing our homework, or they were bringing students from Averett. That's a local 4-year school in my hometown of Danville, Virginia, Averett University, and come teach us about the importance of studying and doing your work and all these things. My sister asked, what advice would you give kids who are going to college this year? Okay. All right.
Okay. I'll have to think about that. Take advantage of what is there. You are there for an education, but you're also there to expand your horizons. One of the things Danielle and I were talking about earlier, when we went up to visit the Virginia Tech campus, she and I were having a conversation. It's a huge campus. You could kind of get lost in a place like that. And yes, it does take a minute to get to know where the buildings are, where you're supposed to be. But then look for those small groups that might have something different to do. And about the time we had that conversation, this group is standing on the sidewalk. They've got a paper cutout of somebody. I can't even remember who it was. They were dressed in attire that went with the theme of whoever their person was. So there are small groups available to you. Check that out. See what it is. Personally, I did square dancing. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually how I met my husband.
Okay.
So you never know what you're going to run across. Don't be afraid to try something new. That's probably the best advice that I like to give, or the advice I like to give most often. Don't be afraid to try something new.
That's so true. I love to say college is an opportunity. It's like a sample. You know, you go to the restaurant and you get a sample of all the appetizers.
Absolutely.
Like, just go sample things like crazy, because you never know what you'll fall in love with. Like, I sampled hip hop dancing one time, and I don't have any rhythm, so that's not for me. Can't dance, so that's not for me. I'll stick to basketball. Jason mentioned, he said, and if you're good at a sport, don't be afraid to pursue it. That's so true.
Oh, absolutely. And know that on college campuses, even if you don't make the team, there are, what did they call it?
Intramurals.
There you go, intramurals. And it's amazing. I know my daughter did it for a little bit. She did some volleyball, didn't really have time, started to get out of shape, and ended up refereeing, score table, so you can stay in it even as your interests and time change.
That's so true. So true. But let's give the story about how you helped me select Virginia Tech, because I don't know if you all know this. I actually need to shoot a video about this, but I wasn't looking at Virginia Tech when I was during my senior year of high school in 2015. Virginia Tech wasn't on my radar, but I went to the Boys and Girls Club, and a lot of the alums and the donors and the staff members were from Virginia Tech. They graduated from Virginia Tech, so they were alums. And we saw the Hokies were everywhere in Danville. But I just, for some reason, I don't know, I just was not looking at Virginia Tech. I was looking at Temple in Philadelphia, Howard in DC, Hampton in the 757 area, Duke in North Carolina. I had like seven schools on my list, and I was starting to narrow them down. And so it's about December 2014. And you know, I'm looking at schools. I'm coming to the club every day. Everyone's asking me, where are you going to go to college? And I was like, I don't know. I have the grades to go where I would like to go, but I don't necessarily, I'm looking for the school that fits me best, because I knew I didn't want a small school. I wanted a big school. I wanted a lot of opportunities. I always said I wanted to go to a D1 school, Division I school, because I wanted to play basketball, but I knew I wouldn't be able to do that because I tore my ACL at 14 at the club in 2011. So I knew that wasn't an option. And so I'm looking at schools, and you had a conversation with my parents in December.
Yes, I did. And actually, I had a conversation before that with the unit director at the time. We knew which schools you were interested in, and Tech wasn't on the list. And the club had actually taken a field trip up to Tech, and you had not been able to go. So you had other obligations. So you had not been able to participate in that. And I just felt like it was something that would be a good fit for you. And that, again, I wanted you to have that opportunity to see it. So I ended up talking to the unit director, make sure this wasn't just me, wanting something for someone that may not have been the right fit. And he was on board with it. He said, yeah, I think she'd do really well there. I told Danielle earlier, one of the things I wanted to invite her to come. I wanted to invite her, and I would take her up there. But you have to be careful as an adult, one-on-one, taking a child somewhere. So I told her I couldn't go unless we had her mother's approval. And I needed to meet her mother. Not so much that I needed to meet her mother needed to meet me. If I was going to take her child on this kind of a trip, then her mother needed to be comfortable with me. So we went and had that conversation with her parents. She has absolutely lovely parents. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting them. And I've enjoyed seeing her mom off and on over the years. So if you're out there, hello.
She's probably going to watch the replay and watching that.
There you go.
And so we went up there. It was in January. I don't remember if it was a break or if it was, I don't remember. But I just remember it was a weekday because the students were in class at Tech, and we drove. Danville is 2.5 hours away from Blacksburg. So we drove to Blacksburg. Your daughter, Catherine, was a senior at Virginia Tech at the time. So you got to see her. And I was also exposed to Virginia Tech at the same time. But it was freezing. It was freezing cold in Blacksburg.
Mountains of Virginia, yes.
In January 2015. But despite the freezing cold weather, it was still a beautiful place. As soon as we stepped on the campus, I felt within myself, this is the right place for me. One, because of the culture. Like they were holding the doors. Students were holding the doors for the students coming behind them, which meant a lot to me because of the club. You all always reinforced the importance of having manners and etiquette and just being kind to people. And everyone was smiling. I would ask students to be like, hey, what do you think of Tech? We're just walking around campus. Catherine and I were walking around campus and you were walking with us. What do you think of Tech? They'd be like, oh, it's great. I love it. No one had anything bad to say about Tech. But I started to look at the campus. I'm like, I could do this. I could do that. Catherine was introducing me to all of these new opportunities. And so I said, this is the perfect place for me. What do you have anything you want to add to that?
I know when we walked through, they have a new athletic area. They have their old gyms. They've got the pool underneath that gym. They certainly have the Coliseum and such. But they had a building that was built recently. It's been quite some time since I was at Tech. So everything that's been built in the last 30 years is recent for me, you have to understand. It was for their intramural sports. We walked through there and I lost Danielle. I mean, there was a young man out there playing basketball and then suddenly she was on the court playing basketball. I was like, okay, this is her chance to talk to somebody and see what is available. And, you know, why aren't you in class? Why are you here playing basketball? Sort of thing. I think that's something you do learn in college. You have a lot more time.
Right.
And you get to use that time in a way that you want to. So yeah, that was actually, I was actually kind of happy to see that happen. I thought, I think she's going to like this.
Yes, that's true.
Danielle talked about staying with my daughter. I stayed in a hotel room. I was plenty warm.
But I was freezing.
You were freezing.
I was freezing. But I would say, so we went there in January. The application was due the next week to go to Tech. And so when you all come across these scholarships and all these college applications that are due, like in a few days or due the next week, don't just allow that to stop you from applying. Just do it. Because I had to grab everything. I need a letter of recommendation. I need money to pay for the application. I need to write the essay. I was hustling. I'm like, this is the place I want to go. So I just need to make it work. I need to get this done on time. And so I submitted the application. 2 months later, I got a notification while I was in school, an email notification saying that the decisions for Virginia Tech applicants were live. And the whole day I'm in school, I can't focus because I'm like, I'm about to find out whether or not I got into Tech. This was 2015. This was March of 2015. So, wow, 5 years.
Yes, indeed.
Ago. That's crazy. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But I said, I don't want to open this until Miss Heidi and I are together. And so I remember running into the club. And it was like, where's Miss Heidi? Where's Miss Heidi? I got to find Miss Heidi. And I was like, Miss Heidi, look, we need to go to the computer lab because my application is online and I don't want to, my application results are online. I don't want to open them until we're together. So I'll let you tell that story.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So she found me. We run into the computer lab, have to find a computer that's working, which isn't always the case. Get logged on. And as she looks at, we are both screaming, she got it. And then she was gone again. She had to tell everybody else. And I'm still standing there at the computer.
My dad said hi.
Hello.
Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, so it was amazing to know that I had gotten into my dream school. I'd been accepted. And I was on my way there. Now it was just time to finish my senior year, pack all my stuff, and begin to transition to Blacksburg, Virginia. So I hope by watching, Jason said, thank y'all for telling your story. Of course, we're here to help. Anything we can do to help. Support, because I know this time of your senior year, if you're a senior, Jason, or anyone who's watching, it's so critical because you're so busy. Prom is around the corner, graduation is around the corner, application results are coming back, you're applying for scholarships, you're trying to figure out how you're going to relocate or what you're going to do after high school. And so you're busy. And it's good to have insight and different perspectives from people who've been there. And I just want to help y'all do whatever I can. My sister said, thank you for taking care of my sister, Ms. H. Your relationship is inspirational. Oh,
thank you.
That means a lot. That definitely means a lot. But Miss Heidi, I would not be where I am today if it weren't for you. You're about to make that face. I know we're both getting ready to cry because I wasn't looking at tech. Tech wasn't on my list of schools, and if I hadn't taken that trip with you, my path would have been totally different. But because you opened my eyes to, oh God, I feel the tears coming. Yeah, because it's so sentimental because my college experience truly changed my life. Like I'm able to help kids, help students and families all around the world chase their dreams and go to college and hopefully graduate debt free because of that one moment we had together. Just being able to tour tech and fall in love. My dad said, "Thank you for being there for my daughter." Gosh, I feel the tears coming. You're welcome. But I'm crying because you never know what one interaction with someone can do for them. It can change their entire life. Whether this video does that for someone or you just being kind to someone, helping an older lady with her groceries. I don't know, but you never know how a simple act of kindness or a gesture of generosity can truly change the trajectory of someone's life. And so my dad said, now she's going to try to be there for somebody else. Exactly. Most definitely. But Miss Heidi, I'll let you add anything you have to add, and then we're going to close out.
There you go. And what Danielle said is you don't know what you say or do that will impact others. For me, there was this wonderful kid at the club that I felt like she would like tech. I think she would enjoy this. I think this would be a good opportunity for her. And my goal wasn't to change her life. It was to give her another option. So you never know, as she said, what you say, what you do, the impact it will have. I feel very fortunate to have been able to follow her again, to follow through on the 5 years. I got to visit her a couple of times while she was at Tech, get to visit her here in DC. It's really nice to be able to follow through with that. You don't always get that opportunity. So this is pretty special for me. Most
definitely. Your family, Miss Heidi. You're always family.
Absolutely. You are one of mine. I will share you with your parents, but you are mine.
That is funny. That is funny. But no, when I tell y'all all the time that I'm here to help, that comes from a soft place in my heart because so many people have helped me just out of simple acts of kindness. And so Jason says, stay beautiful, y'all. Of course, you too, Jason. And I don't take this lightly. And when I tell you I got to get 2 more videos to you, it means the world to me because I'm here to help. Anything I can do to help. And that's one thing I learned at the club was just being of service, like without any expectation of anything in return. You just do it out of the kindness of your heart. And so don't take these moments to serve your community lightly. Don't take these moments to mentor a young person lightly. It is extremely important. My dad said, yes, you are family. Of course.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. Because what do they always say? Kids are the future. And then you never know if the one person you're touching will be the person who changes the world. That's so true.
Absolutely.
That's so true. So true. Absolutely. So Miss Heidi, I know I just said any last thoughts, but sorry. Let me ask you, let me see if I have a question. What's one thing you've noticed in me as I've grown? Because you've been there as I've grown since 6th grade up until graduating from college and now where I am today, that has remained consistent, and one thing you would like me to do moving forward?
Okay, as far as remaining consistent, I've been thinking about this a bit because we've been having this conversation for a week now. The first time I saw Daniel get put on the spot, we were having a conference, and I think it was with law enforcement. Mm-hmm. The unit director picked her up, put her on top of the table, and said, I need you to make some announcements. So clearly her first instinct was to jump off the table and run, but she didn't. She stood up there. She did what she was asked to do, even though she wasn't entirely comfortable with it. Talk about amazing public speaker. She's been working on this for quite some time. So that has always impressed me with you. Again, we had a discussion today, some things. I made her try purple potatoes once.
Yes.
We've tried bruschetta. And you always get that look. What is that? But she's always willing to give it a try. Okay, it's a small bite. That's okay. Start with that small bite. Absolutely. That's one of the things I noticed about you early on. And that's what I've seen grow over the years, that you've taken, okay, I tried that. It wasn't so bad. I'll try the next thing. I'll try the next thing. Keep that up. You have an amazing ability to reach people. I feel like your public speaking is phenomenal. I've watched the last 2 videos of these that you did. You're concise in what you're saying. You're honest about it. And continue that. I am looking forward.
You'll make me cry.
How long have I known you? Okay, 5 and 6, so at least 11 years. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the next 11 bring.
That is funny.
I don't know if I'll be here for another 50, but I'll be watching you for that long.
My dad said, I know the look. Yeah, wait, I'm like, I don't know if I'll do that. But I didn't ask that question out of like arrogance or trying to get spotlight, y'all. I asked that question because I tell y'all all the time, the mindset is progress, not perfection. And the only way to know if you're making progress is to know where you started from. And so I just want to know, you're always looking for ways to improve, not only as you apply for scholarships or as you perform in the classroom, but throughout your entire life. Who you are as a person is the most important part of your life. Your character, your integrity, your willingness to help other people. Your selflessness is the most important characteristic you could ever have. And so progress, not perfection, y'all. That's all I have for today. Miss Heidi, I love you.
I love you, my dear. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I love you.
Thank you all for letting me participate in this.
Like I said, you are a great lady. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Thank you all for watching. I owe y'all 2 videos, 3 for this week. Y'all get ready because we're getting ready to sprint. It starts right after my birthday on March 11th. So let's get it. Let's go. I love you. I'll see you soon. Awesome.